Hi, today I am walking you through a PlayStation 3 Slim model number CECH2501A hard drive upgrade or replacement. I'm going to be putting in a 1 terabyte hard drive that I bought from eBay, but you could use any size SSD or HDD that you want as long as it is below that 1 terabyte threshold and is 2.5 inches. There may be some exceptions to this rule, but for the most part, following that should keep you safe. Now, in order to follow this tutorial, there are going to be some tools that you need. Those tools are the actual PlayStation 3 console, a PlayStation 3 controller, and a cord, a 32 gigabyte or smaller USB flash drive, and a Phillips head screwdriver, and a computer. And before we get any further in the video, I do want to note that this is not going to back up any of your saved data. If you want to back up any of your trophies, your games, your save states, anything like that, you will have to follow another tutorial. I will include that in the description or somewhere in the comments along with all the other information. Also within the description in the comments is a list of issues or bugs that I ran into, or that I've seen other people run into, along with some information and some links to go download any of the softwares, or so you can check out some of the tools that I use, because I did use a nice Drabido toolkit that has come. It's honestly been a great purchase for me, and I kind of do recommend getting one, or the flash drive, because there are some compatibility issues with flash drives. I did have one flash drive end up not working for me, and I think it had to do with like what USB 3.0 version it was. I have seen some people report issues with that. So just linking all of the same tools that I use down in the description. So that way, in case you guys do run into issues, you can try to troubleshoot it or go out and get the same items that I used. Now, in order to do the actual replacement of the physical hard drive, what we're going to want to do is flip over our PlayStation 3. And this little hatch right here on the bottom, there's a small notch in it that you can stick your thumbnail in or a screwdriver, and reveal that little blue screw. As far as I know, on the Slim consoles, all of these screws are blue, at least so far in my experience. And I was able to use the same Phillips screwdriver head for all five of the screws that will need to be removed in order to do this hard drive replacement. Now, once we've removed that screw, what we can do is flip the console so we can see this little area here that looks like it can slide out, and that's because it can. And you just kind of gently pull a little bit to the side and it pops right off. And then we're going to pull down this little latch here. This is the actual tray that the hard drive sits on, and then just go ahead and pull out the hard drive. There's nothing else that I released or anything. I just pulled down that little latch and pulled it out. As you can see here, it is a little dirty. The entire console itself is pretty dirty, and it was when I got it. Right now, I am using a lens wipe to wipe off the top of it, and I ended up wiping off some of the outer shell of the actual bay area. I think that's called. I'm not really sure wherever the hard drive actually sits. Um, but yeah, you just kind of want to clean up this area. This is the old one, so it doesn't really matter. I just didn't want to touch it because it was gross. You can actually see the dirt on the little cover that was there. And here I'm showing you all four screws, and you want to apply a decent bit of pressure. I have noticed that it is kind of hard to get them in there sometimes, or get them out of there sometimes, so you want to make sure you do not strip these screws. Um, Once again, using the same exact Phillips screwdriver, we're going to go ahead and pull out all four of those out. Now, once you have removed all four screws, do not slide the hard drive out of the bay, which is a mistake that I've made. You kind of, it just will literally fall out if you just pop it up by that little thing over there. There's like that little space where you can put your thumb where that break is, and you just pop it right up and out. Comes out, no problem. You don't have to pull or do anything special to get it out. This is the mobile HDD 1 terabyte by Seagate that I bought off of eBay. And once again, you don't have to slide it in there to get it in or anything. You can just literally set it in there. Something that I wish I knew. Make sure you set it back in there the way you got it out. The green part should be, or like the part that looks like a computer chip, should be facing the grate. That's kind of how I've memorized which way it should go back into the case. And then once we have our new drive in there, and we have all of our screw holes lined up, which they should just line up. You shouldn't have to do anything special to make that happen. It should fit perfectly in that little bay container thing. Um, and we're just going to go ahead and stick our screws back in there. You want them kind of snug, but don't overdo it. All right, so we got it all screwed together again. Give it a good shake. Don't actually do that. If it breaks, that's on you. Don't do that. Anyway, they make this as easy as possible. You see that little flap that's there on the side? There's no other way for this thing to go back in there other than this way. This is by far the easiest part of it. The little flap is in the same spot that if you listen to me earlier, you could stick your thumb and just pop the little thing out of there, the little hard drive, just pop it right out of there. Anyway, now we are putting the cover back on. You can see I'm trying to show you uh, how to get the cover back in because sometimes that's a little tricky, but you just kind of want to slide it back in the same way you got it out and it'll do its thing. And I'm showing you that that's where our little blue screw is going to go, is into that hole. All right, so the cover's back on and we're grabbing our blue screw and we are going to screw this bad boy back together and I will see you on my PC. So in this video, I am using the firmware I downloaded from Sony's website. However, if you, for whatever reason, maybe Sony puts out an update and there's not a custom firmware available for you or something like that, and you want a very specific version of the firmware to install on the console, that is available on a couple of different websites that I found. I have only used the Softpedia website. However, I did see some on archive.org. So those options and some information about that is below. So as I did mention, we are going to be using the firmware that's available on PlayStation.com or Sony's website. There actually are instructions on here on how to install the PlayStation 3, how to reinstall the PlayStation 3 system software. So you're going to go ahead and right click that download PS3 update. I have run into some issues with Chrome where it will not download it. Without me changing some security settings. So you want to right click it, save link as, and go ahead and click download. It'll take a second to download. And sometimes it gets stuck with this unconfirmed whatever, and I have to click the refresh button on my Windows Explorer menu. But may or may not be the case for you. Now we're going to go ahead and format our USB thumb drive. Go ahead and right click it, go down to Format and File System, FAT32. I left everything else to like default and select a quick format, and the volume label I set it to PS3. That's just like the name that pops up on it when you plug it into stuff. It doesn't impact it in any way. I just named it that so it's easier for me to know what it is when I plug it into my computer. And now that we have formatted it, go ahead and open it up. We're going to make a new folder and we're going to call this PS3 all capital. Then we're going to go into the PS3 folder and we're going to make another new folder and we are going to call this update, all caps. And then we're going to open up this folder as well, and we're going to go ahead and drag in that PS3 update up.dat.pup. And it's going to take a second to copy over, but once this is done copying over, we can go ahead and eject the disk from our computer. Make sure you guys do that. Don't corrupt your stuff. Take the 2 seconds, right click it, and eject. All right, save your data, save your computer. Once we have ejected the USB though, we are going to plug in both the USB and our controller into the console. I'm assuming you have already plugged in your controller and your USB flash drive. If you have not, please do so and follow the instructions on your screen. And all this is telling you to do is plug in that flash drive that we made and hit the start and select buttons at the same time. Hold them down. It'll change the screen here in a second after we do that, and it's going to check. This process sometimes takes a while, so I'm going to let this bad boy run. All right, we have finished checking, and once again, we're going to hold the start and select buttons at the same time for at least 5 seconds. I just hold it till it changes screens. That might hurt something. I don't know. You should probably listen to the instructions, but I just hold it down till it changes screens. And then eventually it is going to pop up with this screen that says formatting, do not turn off the system or remove the flash drive. Do not do that. That is not good. We do not want to do that. I have not done it, so I don't know what happens, but we don't want to find out. Now, this formatting process may or may not take a few minutes. And then once that's done, I'm pretty sure the console reboots because the screen does go black here for a few seconds. And then the screen will come up and make sure you still have your controller plugged in. Once again, we're just going to be following the prompts and kind of filling out information. I'm not going to commentate the rest of this because there's not really a need for me to do that. You're just really kind of going through the motion of things and just following the prompts on the screen. But if you guys have any questions or need help with anything or ran into any issues along the way, go ahead and drop a comment below. I will be doing my best to help because I know personally I ran into a bunch of different issues with this, and I'm going to include various issues that I ran into in the comment section. And hopefully that'll help you guys as well, maybe avoid needing to leave a comment or avoid running into the same bugs that I had. But thanks for watching. Hopefully this helps somebody. Have a good day.